Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dollar's Twi'lek Tactics. In this video, we're going to be going over my banner prediction model, or my banner prediction spreadsheet, my magic 8 ball. We're going to talk about things that are probably going to be coming in the future, because I have been right on quite a bit of it. So, if you guys have not seen one of these types of videos before, this game does follow a loose content release cycle that we can make predictions on. Some things are almost set in stone, but then every once in a while they'll throw in a curveball, which just kind of throws the whole schedule into chaos, and then we gotta it's gotta come back together, gel, and then we can make more accurate predictions going forward. Now, this video is going to be all spreadsheet discussion, so hide your eyes because it's going to be bright, it's going to be white. If you want to know what's coming up next, then stay tuned. If you don't want to, I'll let you know just right off the hop. A support unit is coming this Thursday. Okay, well, let's go over to the sheet and we can begin our discussion. So if you guys have never seen the sheet before, it is linked. It is in the tab. You see the tabs at the bottom of the screen. This is my master Eternal Evolution spreadsheet. It is linked in the description of every single video. Now, if I can get rid of my head here for a second, I did go all the way back to the very first hero that was released in the game, and that is Leo, who was released on December 6th. Now, back then, people were just playing the game, right? So, it had been out in beta for a while. I do believe August of 2022 is when it was available in beta, but then it was released globally at the end of November 2022. Leo was the first person introduced in the game. You see, they didn't even have a secondary banner with Leo. It was just Leo. And then Ravenna, then Daniel was released at the end of December. We had our first event, which was the Christmas event, which was a lot like the current Endless Battles, where we had 3 different types of battles we had to compete on, and we only had 2 open at any given time. And then Azina, yeah, you see Azina, Ravenna, all of these characters are just like old school legacy at-launch characters. We had a double chip event for New Year's, and then Bada, Emma, Skur, Ampu, and so on, and so on, and so on. Now, up until probably right here, probably around February, is when the cycles kind of got locked in. That's when you could kind of guess what was coming. So let's bring my face back in here. And if you haven't seen this spreadsheet, you see up top here, which is kind of like my head, we started off with a Hunter cycle with, but not really, because it was Azina and Emma who were launch characters. Really, I'd say the Summoner cycle from January to February was the first real cycle, because they launched Skur and Hattie, Ampu, and then they brought Daniel back after 6 weeks from his global launch. And then since then, we've kind of been locked into this very predictable cycle of SSS releases, but they'll throw in a support unit, just slide one in there, which kind of sets off the whole cycle. And now also with these wish list banners, they're also kind of throwing off the cycle. So you see we had a Summoner cycle, and then they brought in this would have been an Assassin cycle. I didn't call it that. Didn't call it an Assassin cycle. But Assassins do come after Summoners. If you look all the way at the bottom of the screen, we had Daniel, Anpu, blah, 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 and that was followed up with Assassins. So I should probably put this in here as an Assassin cycle. And then we went into a Vanguard, Energy, Tank, Hunter, Summoner. So that is the cycle. Summoner, Assassin, Vanguard, Energy, Tank. Let me just make sure. Let's start up here. Summoner, Assassin, Tank, Vanguard, Energy, Hunter, Summoner, Assassin. You see how that goes. And it's pretty much locked in there. Now, let's go down. This is where I started calling it. This is where I started getting very predictive with my models. So right here, May 25th, I called that we were going to have a Vanguard cycle. I even kind of called what kind of skills we were going to have with Barag, and I was dead on. And then I knew that Energy came after Vanguard. 2 weeks later, we got Jaina. Called it. Hunters, 2 weeks later, Rebecca. Called it. And then Summoners... Wait, Rebecca. And then the Summoner cycle kicked off. And we got Dorley. But then we also had this like little mini Assassin cycle right in here where we got Dominic and Rickert released. Now, we didn't get a new Assassin, but this is also when we knew that they announced that we were going to get Helentis from the Hell Arena. So they announced that during this assassin cycle, and even though we can't get her yet, she was I do believe you could see her in game. You see right here, July 20th is the Hell Arena game mode actually launched, and we got Helentis, and we got the SP assassin Caraxi in there as well. So I called Doralee, called Wamagon, because one thing also is these giant tower events. You see over here, you see I have every time we have a giant tower, and it corresponds with the hero that it's pointing at. The giant towers also became very, very predictable. So not starting here though, kind of, where we had Leo was a giant tower, and then Panda was a giant tower. But then it kind of fell into this really predictable cycle right here, right around June 15th, where the giant tower event was following the class cycle, and the giant tower character was who should be coming up in the next cycle. Like Ryzeris was the giant tower. We got her in a wishlist banner, and then we got Rebecca. Dominic was in this giant tower, which was in an assassin. And you see 8 weeks from release, Dominic. Wamagon, his first time back around, he was in the giant tower. Barog, first time he was back in, was the giant tower. Miranda, yeah, see, they just threw Miranda in here 8 weeks from release. They kind of stuck her in with energy, but she was not a giant tower. Now we kind of come into the point where we can, and then, yeah, here, like I said, I called that Barog was going to come back. It just made sense that since we were going into a Vanguard cycle, that they had to re-release the previous new Vanguard character. Now, for the last couple cycles, if you guys have been paying attention to the sheet, I've been theorizing. I thought they were going to chuck in a support back when we got Teresh, because it just seemed like after Assassins, I do believe, is when we got our support. Let's see right here. See Summoner, and then this is right in the middle. Oh no, there's Assassin cycle. Yeah, there's an Assassin cycle right there. Right in between Summoners and Assassins, they stuck in Miranda. So ever since this Summoner cycle came around where we got Doralee, I was kind of thinking that they were going to slot in another support, but instead they skipped support and went right to tank. Now, it has been soft confirmed by the Loose Lips Sinker of Ships that this Thursday we are getting another support. I've tried to find out more details to see if it's more of a healer support or more of a support, you know, Maz versus Miranda. But no news on that. I guess we'll probably find out, probably get a sneak peek tonight on Facebook, then we'll get the kit probably tomorrow on Facebook. So we do know, this is the current events going on right now. We have Teresh and we have Barog. We do know that we are getting a support on Thursday. So I have August 3rd, we're getting a support. Now, what's going to be coming after that? We know that we are in a Vanguard cycle. It was theorized that it would either be a support or a Vanguard this week. Since we know it's a support, that means that on August 17th, we're getting the new Vanguard, and that will be the end of the Vanguard cycle. I think that we are getting probably Leo with this next support hero, because Barog, Leo, and the new Vanguard are going to be the triple threat on the new Vanguard team. And since we got Barog last week, or currently today, if you're watching this, go pull Barog, which is why I pulled Barog until I got him to MO 5. Because I have Leo at MO 3, and I want to get this new Vanguard up to Immortal X30 day 1, so that I am right at the tip of the spear if the meta shifts back to Vanguards. So Leo, probably going to get this new support with Leo on August 3rd. And then, since Hunters follow Vanguards in the cycle release, or in the content release cycle, and it makes sense because it will be a giant tower on August 10th. We will be getting Rebecca back for the giant tower. They always tend to, stagger the giant towers with the previous triple S of that class, or of the next class that is after. It's complex. It's all right. It makes sense in my head. And you guys, if you can pick through this, you can make sense. So if we're in a Vanguard cycle, that means the next giant tower is going to be Hunters, because Hunters are coming up next, except they're not. Energy is coming up next. Okay, that's why. That's why it's Rebecca. I was going to say, normally it should be Energy, but they doubled up. This wish list banner is really screwing off my predictive models because they gave us both Barog and Jaina, which were the two newest heroes of the Energy and the Vanguard class, together in the wish list banner. Unfortunately, Jaina, not going to see a giant tower. They skipped her over for her giant tower. Instead, they just crammed her in there with the Barog. Now, also, when we're talking about wishlist banners, it was a 6 weeks in between wishlist banners. Now, we'll see. I'm not going to predict that we're going to get another wishlist banner on 6 weeks from July 27th. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm not right now predicting that we're going to get a wishlist banner on September 7th. But if we do, it'll probably be Teresh, whatever support character comes this week, because that's the next first global return banner after Teresh, right? It was Teresh and this new support. But if I see that on September 7th that it's another wishlist banner, then I know that that's kind of the cadence that they're going to be doing is every 6 weeks they're putting in a wishlist banner just to give all of us more opportunities to get more heroes, which is good. We want more of those banners. Those banners were really, really good because of the accelerated or the increased probability of getting the triple S. I got so many Barog and Jaina, and I even got a Daniel thrown in there when I was pulling on this banner. But anyways, back to the predictive model. So new Vanguard, August 17th. Durali will be coming back on August 24th because that lines up with her giant tower as well. It'll be 7 weeks since her global release. You see Rebecca, 7 weeks since her global release. It used to be 8 or 9, but these wishlist banners are really compressing the timing. And then new energy coming out August 31st because the energy fight cycle follows the Vanguard cycle. Vanguard cycle. I think I said that wrong. Energy cycle, Vanguard cycle. We're going to get a new energy on August 31st. Now, here's what people are probably going to look at and question me on. So I have, on August 17th, I have Nord coming. And you know why? Because Nord currently is the paywall character, the paywall triple S, much like Bailey was. And if we go all the way back to Bailey, you'll see right here, they finally gave us a Bailey banner 6 months after the game launched. Right? 6 weeks after, people started playing this game on official launch, they released Bailey to us. They finally unloaded him, and you see where we got we got Nord way back here on March 2nd. So what I'm thinking is I'm kind of basing this 6th month release for a paywall character, and I'm calling Nord to be released on August 17th. Don't frickin' lynch me if it's not true. Don't show up at my door with pitchforks and fire. But it makes sense since it will have been 6 months to the day since his first release into this game, which means that I'm thinking maybe this new Vanguard or this new energy or some of the one character. Well, you know what? I was going to say they don't have to be OP because we have the SP characters now. It makes sense now since, what was it, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, they gave us the Nord packs for $200. They probably made their money off of that. It makes sense that now, with SP characters being the paywall characters, and man, are they paywalled, that they can finally release Nord to the masses. And it makes the most sense to do it on August 17th, right before the new energy hero on August 31st. So after energy is Hunter. So you see I got Ryzeris coming as the companion banner to the new energy on August 31st. And then it has to be Teresh on the 7th or September 7th for his giant tower because it's 7 weeks since his global release. And then the new Hunter comes on September 14th. That new Hunter is going to replace Moriami in the Hunter team because right now the Hunter team is Ryzeris, Rebecca, and and you see I got Rebecca way up here coming her giant tower on the 10th. So you're going to have a chance at Rebecca. Most likely going to be Ryzeris for the return banner. with the new energy. And then Teresh Giant Tower. And then we're going to get the new Hunter on September 14th because that follows in the cycles. And then we enter a Summoner cycle, right? So this one's going to be interesting. So Ampu is probably going to be the complementary banner to this new Hunter, because that's going to kick off the Summoner cycle. September 21st, we're going to get a giant tower of whatever this new support is that's released this week is going to be re-released September 21st, since that's 7 weeks after the global release. Bear in mind, they might make the Wishlist banner an every 6-week event, and if that's the case, then this new support will be released with Teresh and a third hero on a Wishlist banner September 7th. And then the new Summoner comes September 28th. That's going to make things interesting. That's going to make things really interesting. Who is it going to replace? Don't know, because Ampu and Sorvali are tied to the hip. Daniel and Doralee, you don't want to get rid of them. Maybe it releases Sorvali. Possibly. And then we move back into a assassin cycle after Summoners. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know that probably sounded like a whole lot of me rambling, but you can discern patterns from their release cycles. It's just whenever they throw in like a double chip, or they throw in a holiday event, or they throw in these wishlist banners, it throws off the cadence a little bit, but the cadence doesn't break. It just gets, the timelines get reshuffled a little bit. Like Jaina being on here with Barag totally eliminated the chance of getting Jaina on a giant tower where she normally should have had a giant tower where Rebecca does right here. Because that would have made the most sense, Jaina being on the giant tower, because the new energy, that would have kind of kicked off the new energy cycle. As such, you see the energy cycle is huge. It spans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Whereas normally, I don't think we've had one that went that long. Maybe up here, this Summoner cycle went 3 weeks. You see, the cycles usually will only last 2 to 3 weeks. But yeah, Jaina threw that one off. You see, even up here, 3 weeks. This one was 4 weeks. This Summoner cycle was 4 weeks. Because of a wishlist banner, again, because we got Ampu and Sorv on the June 15th wishlist banner that is under my head. You guys can't see what I'm looking at. So, but for the most part, these definitely follow a cadence, a measurable cadence. Now, what else does this spreadsheet have on it? Let's see, it has this. So you can see, here's the timing, and this is based on, I've already updated these numbers to reflect the weeks since the person's banner as of this August 3rd, when the new hero gets released. Nord, Bailey, and Leo are the only heroes that have never shown up in the shop. Now, there's no reason, given that in 2 weeks' time, or 2.5 weeks' time, that Leo does not become purchasable with chips in the shop, because he's going to be the lowest on the trifecta, or the triumvirate of the new Vanguards once the new one gets released. Nordtheon and Bailey, again, no reason now. Bailey is totally been supplanted with the introduction of Caraxia and Helentis. Maybe. Definitely Caraxia. And then down here you see every other new release hero has shown up in the shop. If they've shown up in the shop, then they are pink. If they have never shown up in the shop, then they are blue. But Doralee and Teresh are the two newest hero releases, and as such, they usually wait a little bit before they put them in the shop. But they do. As you see here, Rebecca was purchasable in the shop with chips July 20th in the 2-week shop. I also have this. So they do. Jaina was purchasable with chips. Barag, Razaris, all of these new release heroes became purchasable with chips fairly quickly. You see Barag was available to purchase with chips on July 6th, and then they brought him back on July 20th. The reason why I know that is because since he's yellow, it means he was in the shop July 20th, but he was also sandwiched between two blues, which means he was also in the shop July 6th. You can kind of do that with everything. Here you see Miranda. Luke probably not going to show up in that shop anymore. Panda's been here a lot in the shop, a lot. Rickart's been in the shop a lot. Dominic's been in the shop a lot. For some reason, Masrani showed up in the shop there, even though he's permanent in the 1 week shop. So a lot of information on the spreadsheet. A lot of accurate predictions can be made. You just have to parse the data. So this down here at the bottom, what you're seeing in gray, is my predictions going forward. They do change based on curveballs thrown. So keep that in mind. Again, don't come and show up at my house demanding compensation for you holding all your genes for a character that didn't come. These are best guesses, but you see on the left here, I have called them fairly correct quite a bit. Except for this new support. And the tank, Teresh. I did not call the tank because I thought I thought this was going to be the support based on prior releases, but no, they skipped the support, put it in a tank, but we are getting the support now. So really, my my prediction was just flipped for the month. So damn close. Damn close. And I do keep this updated when I find any information from the sinker ships, the loose lips, Mr. You know who. So I think we'll end it there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments below if I just rambled incoherently through the whole thing, or if you could follow with my I have this weird thing where my brain thinks faster than my mouth, and that's why I kind of get jumbled up at times. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, peace, bye bye.